cansado, señor?
No he visto a su marido, Ana.
No. Aquí está.
Hola a todos. ¿Cómo está usted, señor? Hola, querida. Con perdón, Frank. Creo que es urgente. ¿Me disculpan?
Sí, cómo no.
Espero que no sean malas noticias.
Me temo que sí.
La salud de Lady Churchill sigue siendo tan precaria.
Sí, está muy delicada desde hace algún tiempo. Perdónenme, ¿eh?
Sí, cómo no.
¿Tienes que irte?
Sí. La tía está muy enferma y me reclama. Pero prefiero que no lo digas ahora. No quiero entristecer el ambiente.
Bueno, caballeros, venga usted conmigo, capitán. Caballeros. Caballeros. Se nos había prometido un baile. Estoy segura de que Jane no tendrá inconveniente en tocar unas piezas mientras los demás bailamos un poco. ¿No es cierto, querida?
Encantada.
¿Por qué no, Jane? La señora Elton tiene razón.
Estoy dispuesta a abrir, puesto que en cierto modo esta fiesta es en mi honor. Si algún caballero...
Emma, ¿no recuerda usted que me había prometido la primera pieza?
Si me hace usted el honor.
¿Qué? No baila usted, señor Knightley.
Pues no, señor Wouters. No es mi fuerte.
¿Baila, señor Elton?
Mi querida señora Weston, yo le recomendaría una mejor pareja. Pero ya que me lo pide, pues no sería correcto.
No lo digo por mí. Lo digo por la señorita Smith, a quien me gustaría ver participar en el baile.
La señorita Smith, no la había observado. Es usted muy amable al señalármelo, pero mis días de baile se acabaron. Señora Weston sería tan feliz al complacerla en cualquier otra cosa.
Señorita Smith, ¿me hace usted el honor?
Encantada.
Pasamos.
Encantado. Gracias.
Nada.
Obliged to ask Mrs. Elton to lead the dancing. She will expect it.
Of course, Mrs. Weston, I understand.
I do hope you will not feel slighted.
No, not in the least. It is her right.
Thank you, my dear. You're very understanding.
The only thing is, well, to suggest as her partner, Michelle. I think Frank should accompany her.
I'm sorry, Father. I already have a prior engagement.
Oh, you've engaged yourself already?
But on this occasion, Mr. Churchill, I am quite prepared to release you.
I refuse to be released.
Yes, of course. I think you should ask her yourself, my love.
I shall not say thank you to stand up with an old codger like me.
Indeed she will. Go on with you.
Don't worry, Father. So long as she may be first, she will not care whom it is with.
Mr. Churchill, that was not kind.
It was not intended to be.
Oh, la, Mr. Weston, must it be I once again? Is there really no one else? Oh, well, then I suppose I must stay here.
Really, it is almost enough to make one think of becoming a bride oneself.
Miss Woodhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Churchill.
Roses at Donwell Abbey, the Harbour Wharf, a particularly fine.
Thank you, and you too, Miss Woodhouse. And Mr. Churchill. Oh, forgive me, Mr. Weston. I'm afraid we do it quite differently at Maple Grove.
Do beg your pardon, Mrs. Elton.
Oh, dear, poor Harriet.
Don't worry, Elton is there.
Do not dance, Mr. Elton.
Most readily, Mrs. Weston, if you would do me the honour.
Oh, no, my dancing days are past, I'm afraid. But little Miss Smith here lacks a partner.
Oh, well, excuse me, ma'am. Not really much of a dancing man, I'm afraid. I merely asked in the hope that you might give me the pleasure. An old married man these days, so if you'll forgive me. Ah, Mr. Knightley, you and I have to number ourselves as observers on this occasion, do we not?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Harriet, Miss Smith, would you do me the honour to join me on the floor?
Miss?
Yes, you, Harriet. Come, let us show them what we can do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No need in the world to thank me.
I see that Knightley's taken pity on that poor little Smith child. Very obliging of him, I must say. Yes. What do you think? Extremely gentlemanly.
Very nice.
That was most enjoyable, Harriet, but far too short. I shall claim the honour of another dance later, if I may.
Nice.
Harriet is all alone.
Do not dance, Mr. Elton.
Most readily, Mrs. Weston, if you will be my partner.
Oh, dear me, I'm no dancer. Let me find a better partner for you.
Though I am an old married man, I should enjoy dancing with Mrs. Gilbert.
Mrs. Gilbert told me she does not mean to dance this evening, but I do see a young lady whom I should like to see dancing. Miss Smith.
Miss Smith. I had not observed her there. Well, you're most obliging to have pointed her out to me, and were I not an old married man, I should gladly do the job. But my dancing days are over.
Nothing lacking. Could not have imagined it. Jane, look. Did you ever see anything like it? Mr. Knightley, it was a very
A very fine young man indeed, Mr. Weston. You may believe me, I never compliment. So truly the gentleman, without the least conceit or puppyism. I am extremely pleased with him.
Thank you, Mrs. Elton. I have yet to meet anyone who did not like my son.
Ah, but you must know that I can be very severe upon young men. I have a vast dislike of puppies, quite a horror of them. Had he turned out to be a puppy, I might have said some very cutting things, you may be sure. I am a scourge of puppies. Am I not, Mr. E?
Indeed you are, Augusta. Woe betide any puppy who ventures into your society.
I said, did we, Jane? There was a man, you know, and Mr. Frank Churchill was so extreme. And there he is now dancing. Mr. Frank Churchill cuts a very fine figure, does he not, Mr. Knightley?
Very sprightly.
Very sprightly, yes, indeed, that is the word for him. And so well partnered in Miss Woodhouse. They make a very pretty pair, do they not, Jane? They might have been made to stand up together.
Dance, Mr. Elton?
Most readily, Mrs. Weston, if you will dance with me.
Me? No. I would get you a better partner.
If Mrs. Gilbert wishes to dance, it would give me very great pleasure, I'm sure.
Mrs. Gilbert does not mean to dance. But here is a young lady disengaged. Miss Smith.
Miss Smith, I am much obliged to you. I did not notice Miss Smith. But I'm an old married man now. My dancing days are over. You will excuse me, Mrs. Weston. Ah, Mr. Knightley.
Excuse me, sir.
I see Knightley has taken pity on poor little Miss Smith. Very good-natured, I declare.
Ladies and gentlemen, the town square.
Room looks, it is most excellently contrived, is it not?
house looks so brilliant tonight.
So beautiful.
Yes.
She and Mr. Churchill are made for each other.
What are you doing over here with the old men and the card players?
I told you I don't dance.
Woodhouse, the second dance.
The ship's cook. Oh, I see you are watching Miss Fairfax. Have you picked up any clues as to her mystery? Miss Bates told me she had received a letter from Ireland that made her very happy, perhaps from her friend Mr. Dixon.
No, I was merely thinking how awful her hair looks. That's so unbecoming. I can't think what would possess anyone to look that way. Shall I go over and say something?
Oh, goodness me, no, the music is starting. We must dance.
Oh no, Mr. E, I'm sitting this one out. Cannot dance every dance with the same degree of accomplishment. I do not put myself at the front for all to admire, unlike some I could mention.
Quite so.
Do you not dance, Mr. Elton?
No, certainly, Mrs. Weston. If you will dance with me.
I am not dancing tonight, sir.
Mrs. Goddard, then. Though I am an old married man, it would give me great pleasure.
You must excuse me, Mr. Elton. I have danced my last reel, I'm afraid.
I see a young lady who I should very much like to see dancing.
Miss Smith. Mrs. Weston, you must excuse me, but I am an old married man, and my dancing days are quite over.
Elton will expect to be asked to begin the ball, and she will surely think Frank ought to ask her.
Frank cannot break his promise to you. He has promised you the first two dances. Here's the plan. I will ask Mrs. Elton. The ball is in Frank's honour, but it's in my design. I shall ask her.
You must submit to stand second.
A bride must be first, in company. Which is almost enough to make me think of marrying.
Must I go first? I really am ashamed to always be leading the way.
Gentlemen.
You have been much missed in Highbury.
Have I?
How was your aunt?
Most reluctant to release me.
Do you not dance, Mr. Elton?
Most readily, Mrs. Weston, if you will dance with me.
Oh.
Ah. Well, perhaps.
There is a young lady, disengaged, whom I shall be very glad to see dancing. Miss Smith?
Miss Smith. If I were not an old married man, but my dancing days are over. Mrs. Weston, you will excuse me. Will you dance, Miss Smith?